Um,
What's up, everybody? This is the second episode of Battin and Chattin, hosted by me, Dennis Toohey, Brandon Natali, and of course Nicholas Thiel. Here to talk about baseball with you guys for the next hour or so. All the hottest topics around the league in the past week. So we got some Mets stories, some Yankee stories around Major League Baseball, and a little bit of miscellaneous topics about our favorite players on our favorite team and favorite players not from our favorite teams. And of course, MLB stadiums and fun stories of going to the ballpark. So it should be a loaded program today. Can't wait to get right into it. First off, gentlemen, starting with Brandon, how's everybody doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. It's been a good busy day. Obviously I went to the gym, I worked. Now I'm here ready to talk some baseball with my one of my two best buddies, and just this Diet Pepsi.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Pepsi
My
guy. Didn't
Yeah, Diet,
expect it.
a Diet
Diet
Pepsi.
Pepsi guy.
And
Nick?
besides that, I'm doing good.
my day's been pretty good, man. Kind of like Brandon. I just worked, chasing that paper all day. Now
Yeah,
I'm
man.
ready to talk baseball with the boys. But Dennis, I think you had yourself a day today. How
I
about you
did.
dive into that a little bit?
I did.
Little round of
Graduated
applause.
from the SUNY College at Old Westbury. The last class of SUNY College at Old Westbury. It is now the University of Old Westbury.
That is
Oh,
right.
yeah.
I've heard that.
Starting
Right.
this year.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty stoked about that. Hype. Congratulations. And then afterwards, family went out for dinner. Nice place in Massapequa. Loved it.
There
What'd
you
you
go.
get? What'd you get to eat? What was the graduation dinner?
Big calamar guy.
Let's
Gotta
go.
get it.
That's what I like
Gotta
to
get
do.
it. My favorite meal.
Amazing.
Up for that. There you go.
Chicken parm with
There you go.
penne, a little bit of sauce on it.
Okay.
As
Okay.
the entree, some baked clams as an appetizer.
There you go.
Had some like eggplant stack thing. Pretty good. Different. Eggplant
Very
guy.
nice.
So
Very
nice
nice.
day.
Very nice. Coming from the
Graduated.
Italians over here. Well, Nicholas, you are Italian, right?
According to Ancestry.com, I'm like 6% Italian, so I just milked
Okay.
that.
All
I
right.
just milked that. Well, yeah, I'm Italian. Yeah,
You just
But
okay. All right.
Irish and Polish.
Either way.
Odd man out. Odd man out.
Either way.
I'm mainly
it's-
Czech. I'm mainly Czech and British and German.
Believe it or not, I know this is not baseball. Believe it or not, I am Colombian and Italian. You wouldn't believe it, but hey, there's a first. The more you know, the better.
We're a very diverse group here.
Yeah.
We are the melting pot of
Yes, we're the
sports,
melting pot. The
of
salad
sports
bowl.
podcasting. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. But anyways, here we are. This ain't Ancestry.com. This is Battin and Chattin. I still got to work on that. You remember how from the old Westbury days?
How
Dennis
could I
always said-
forget? We're on the air together for
Oh my God.
2.5
We
years.
Every time, Nick, before we started the show, our old show, the BDJ Talk Sports Show, never forget that show. We always obviously, we would talk about something random, and then we would just, and then obviously, I would always curious and be like, like this ain't like, this ain't the Food Network. This is the BDJ Talk Sports Show. So yeah, like I said, this ain't Ancestry.com. This is Bad and Chatting here at the Eastern Observer, and we're here to give you our thoughts on what's going on in the baseball world. And then there's so much going on with our Mets and our Yankees. There's always something going on with them. They're probably the two most non-boring teams. I think most of us can agree on that.
Yeah.
They've been shocking the Mets. So I guess I'll start off with my Mets first before we dive into your Yankees.
Sure thing.
The Mets, man, it's been a very thrilling week. Very thrilling week, I might say. They say we took 2 out of 3 from the Tampa Bay Rays. That was amazing. And then we swept the Guardians. That was amazing. That was dominant. I was at the game Sunday. It was great atmosphere. Great. Just great seeing the team do come back the way they did. And and then Verlander, Scherzer and Verlander pitching the 1-2 combo. That's what we wanted, what we dreamt of in the offseason. To see it come to life, that was amazing. I wanted Scherzer to pitch 7 innings. I guess I know they were complaining he had like a callus or blister on his fingers, so he wasn't able to go further than he needed to. I wanted him to pitch 7 innings, but hey, like I said, I'm not the manager, but I was happy to see Verlander go 8 innings, showing that he still has it. And the fact that the way he was pitching Sunday night was great to see in front of a live audience. And I'm just happy with what's going on, with the team. I know Jason Kipnis was talking a lot of dirt on the Mets. He wasn't targeting just Lindor, but he was kind of targeting the whole Mets in terms of who's the leader. and so they kind of clapped back right at him, and especially Lindor, and he got walked off that night. The young baby Mets, which I got to write an article about, the fact that the energy they bring to the team. And I know there's stuff we got to dive in, but the one thing I will say is that they shouldn't ship down Alvarez, and we will dive into that. But I want to get to you guys, obviously. Now, how are you guys feeling about your New York Yankees?
I'm feeling pretty good right now. They're on. I mean, well, besides tonight. Tonight, I'm just looking at this box score right now. Tonight, I don't want to talk about that. But prior to tonight, I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, they had a very successful series against Tampa Bay. Also, thank you guys for taking 2 out of 3 from them as well. Us Yankee fans really appreciate that.
Anytime.
Um,
Anytime.
Great series against Toronto. Nice sweep of the Reds. That should be expected. But hey, you know what? We'll take those wins in a very stacked American League East. Um, Judge is like MVP. He's on MVP tear right now.
The King
So
of New York.
yeah, no, seriously, he is, man. I think he's leading the league in slugging and OPS right now.
Okay.
He's just killing it. But I'm feeling pretty good as a Yankee fan. How you feeling, Dennis?
Confident.
Yeah, right. They're on
Confident.
fire.
Okay.
They seem to be progressing well, even with injuries and whatnot. Of course, Carlos Rodon has not even towed the rubber for the New York Yankees in a sanctioned game this year. 30-20, only 5.5 games out of first in the division, 8-2 over the last 10, 5-game winning streak. I really like what I've seen. I like that our front office made a big move early on by DFAing Aaron Hicks. A lot of times front
Oh
offices
my
wait
God.
for later in the year to make those kinds of moves. I like one thing that I think people could criticize, and fairly, the Yankees front office over the past couple of seasons is they tend to be a little too patient, I feel. And I think other fans feel as well. Perhaps not the majority, but I'm glad to see them make a move like that early on, calling up these young guns and reacquiring Greg Allen, who played very well for the New York Yankees back in 2021, hit 270 with no home runs, only two RBIs, 5 stolen bags, but it just seemed like he played 15 games. It felt like a much larger sample size than that. 136 OPS, but he was just always on, man. He was just always on.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to see what he can do as kind of a utility bat off the bench. Or who knows, maybe they even move Oswaldo Cabrera to that utility role and they start Greg Allen more consistently. Oswaldo Cabrera not having the best of seasons to start.
Yeah,
Right.
no, I 110% agree. And it's crazy that you said that, Greg Allen only playing, 15 games as a Yankee in 2021. That's just crazy the impact he had that year. And, he's such a good face to have. Um, DFA and Hicks, it's definitely the right move for the Yankees. I agree.
Oh,
That was the
100%.
much
Yeah.
needed move to make. 110%. Greg Allen, I mean, already making an impact this year. Small sample size, but he's bad and nice 1,000 right there. He's perfect at the plate. He had a triple, already had a triple, stolen base, so he's got the speed. That was something the Yankees were always lacking in for a long time, but now they got Volpe, Greg Allen. I personally love the move. Both Aaron Hicks, I mean, long tenured Yankee, nothing but respect for the guy at the end. It was an ugly end. Those last couple of years were rough to watch.
Right.
But I mean, as Yankee fans, I think he's got to wish him nothing but the best. But like I said,
Good for you guys.
great move for the Yankees.
Right.
Keep
Yeah.
keep playing winning baseball at this point.
Right. I've said it to my Yankee friends, and obviously, you know, one thing I always ask is like, if you guys want Aaron Hicks gone so bad, why isn't he gone already? Like, I'm not saying the fan, and what I mean is, I'm not saying the fans have the control of that. I'm just saying, like, how come he's still on the roster all this time? I've seen the highlights. It's like, especially the one highlight where the ball drops and he's just standing there for like literally a good 2 seconds. When I remember that play. It sounds like he was a good teammate. I will give credit to him though. The one game me and Dennis and Josh went to where he tied it up, a 3-run homer in the bottom of the ninth. That I think is like the Aaron Hicks moment to us. Like, that I do think of. It's he stayed for the Yankees for a pretty long time. 7 years, 70. I thought it was yesterday he just signed that contract. The
I
fact
know.
that,
It did fly by.
like crazy. The fact that he has 2 years, left on it. I mean, hey, but hopefully, you wish him nothing but the best. And I mean,
Yeah.
he'll find it. He'll find a home, whether it's some minor league deal to start or signing to active roster. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
Dennis looked like he had something to say.
Yeah, well, first off, that game that you were mentioning happened against the Astros.
Yeah,
So of all teams to go off against, I mean, that's the one. And also, I really hope he bounces back because it seems like he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Obviously, the New York media and fan base was getting to him, but he never
Yeah.
really used that as an excuse or whatnot. And I also thought since that injury to his sheath and right in his wrist, he
Yeah.
hasn't
His
been the
wrist injury.
same. His bat speed is significantly dwindled,
Yeah.
and hopefully he can get right on track. I don't know. He's a switch hitter. I don't know if maybe he wants to take the time to just work more towards the right side of the plate, which he's been better with, and kind of work in like a utility role, just mashing lefties moving forward for the rest of his career. I don't know. But yeah, I just don't see a place for him on a winning team right now. I just don't. So
Yeah.
hopefully a team like Colorado or somebody picks him up. But
okay.
I agree. I mean, it's gonna be tough for teams, to really look at Aaron Hicks and be like, "Do we really want this guy on our team?" I mean, the last 3 seasons, he's only batting 209, a 315 on base
Yeah.
percentage, 310 slugging. It's
Right.
that wrist injury really did, put a dagger in his career.
Mm.
And it's tough because it's like the Yankees had to make an in division trade with their arch nemesis, the Boston Red Sox, to
Mhm.
actually put things into motion for Hicks to get DFA'd. So it's going to be tough from the final team for sure. But I mean, hey, the injuries happen. He might fill in a role down the line, whether it's with maybe a winning team, a team, in the muck. But we should see what happens to Aaron Hicks in the future. But wish him
Yeah.
nothing but the best.
Oh, good to see from Yankee fans. See, I feel like he's getting better treatment than Joey Gallo did. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
because I mean, hey, good for him. I feel like honestly, I feel like he's handled more of the criticism better than Joey Gallo did. I mean, not this, not nothing against Joey Gallo, but he
nah,
had
for
a
sure.
lot of heat coming to him. You know,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I think it's just a matter of fact that Joey Gallo hit a few bombs off of us a few series ago against the Twins too. So it's just
how is
Yankee
he?
fans are definitely salty about that. But
He is doing better though, right, Joey Gallo? Like,
yeah, I think he's doing better this year. I haven't really looked at his stats in a while, but from what I last checked, he's having a better year than he did with the Yankees for sure.
yeah, and that doesn't really surprise me. He was one of those guys, man. Let's be honest, dude. He really got shafted with this shift.
Oh, yep. Yep.
Really
He was a
hard,
he
man.
was a victim of the shift,
Really
110%.
hard. One of the
Yep.
worst. So I'm not surprised to see him doing better, especially guys. Come on, let's call a spade here. Big difference between going up against the AL East pitching and the AL Central pitching. We got
Yes,
to
that
just,
is also true.
I
One
mean,
of the
come on. I don't
yeah.
think that's Sandy Koufax on the mound for the Kansas City Royals. Just a
No.
thought.
right?
And that AL Central is just rough to look at. I
Oh, they
mean,
suck.
yeah, the Royals 15-35, White Sox 21-30, the Guardians are 21-28. Wow.
Nick,
Yeah.
I'll save you the time. And Brandon, I'll save you the time too. Only one team has a positive run differential. It's the team Joey Gallo is on.
Yep, that is true.
Really?
Yep,
Only one team is above 500.
Yep,
Hmm.
Minnesota.
All right. Now, speaking of other, I guess not run differentials, but ERA. I have to say, so I was looking back at Nasty Nestor's stats. I know he did pitch tonight, correct?
Yes.
He did pitch tonight. So I know over the past couple of years, he was nasty, as I would say. I feel like this year he kind of took a little bit of a step back. Or I might be wrong. You guys could be the better judge of that. What do you think Nasty Nestor can improve? Or,
Well, I think he can definitely improve, and the beginning of this season has not been as kind to Cortez as in recent years. I mean, what Cortez was known for was, not giving up a lot of home runs, And I'm looking at it now. I mean, he's allowed 8 home runs already. This is prior to tonight. I don't know if he let up one today. I didn't watch the game tonight so far. But last year, his All-Star season, he let up 16 home runs in 158 innings pitched. He's halfway there already in only 48 innings pitched. So giving up the long ball has definitely been more of an issue for Cortez this year. That's for sure. But prior to tonight, I think he had a solid start or two. Yeah, he had 6 strikeouts, only 2 earned runs, and 6 innings pitched against Toronto. Definitely a much needed bounce back game. I was hoping he's going to build off of that. Tonight wise, I don't know his exact stat line for tonight. I'll look into it right now. But yeah, the beginning of this season has not been as kind to Cortez for sure as in 2022.
All right.
Yeah, well, tonight he went 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 4 earned runs, 5 strikeouts. Threw 89 pitches, 63 strikes. His ERA on the season is 5.3, 5.30. And hey, man, he won his last 3 outings against Toronto, as Nick just said, 4-2. That was a Yankee victory. He went 6 innings pitched, allowed 5 hits, only 2 runs, 6 strikeouts. Before that, against the Rays, 9-8 Yankee victory, 4.1 innings pitched, 7 hits, 6 runs. So he got the win, but it doesn't really seem like he factored into it. And before that, it was a win against Oakland, 5 innings, 6 hits, but only 2 runs, 4 strikeouts. One thing that stood out to me is not as many strikeouts, it feels, as last year. Last year, he was much more of a strikeout artist.
Okay.
I don't know if it's with the pitch clock. Some people theorize with the pitch clock and whatnot, he can't do his Nestorisms, for lack of better words, with the timing and whatnot, but I'm sure he'll figure it out. This is a guy that's worked himself, from the minor leagues back to the majors, back to the minors, from the bullpen to the starting rotation to then becoming an all-star. He has the work ethic, and I think the Yankees have the pitching staff that they'll figure it out. I think it's just he's stuck in a rut for now.
He started off the year pretty strong his first 4 or 5 starts. So I mean, I think he just might be in a little dry spell right now prior to the Toronto game. And
I remember the game. Yeah,
I agree with that. I think he's going to be okay. Maybe not all-star level again, but I think he's going to be a solid rotation guy regardless.
Right. Yeah, I remember I was at the game that he pitched against. It was against the Twins. It was a Friday night, and that's when they had Tino Martinez bobblehead. Maybe I'll show it later for you guys.
Hell yeah.
Even as my fan, I do collect bobbleheads. Even though I will trade. I mean, not that my friend who he's a big Yankee fan, diehard, and he's basically like a Yankee mascot, if you will. He said if he goes to Citi Field, he'll give me any event, a bobblehead, we'll trade off that bobblehead. But I mean, it's still sitting there. It's not bad. It's decent. But anyways, when I saw Nestor that night, he had his stuff. I know he pitched 7 innings, he dominated the Twins, especially against Carlos Correa. So yeah, I'm sure he'll probably just he'll figure it out, and he's hopefully a lot of pitchers are getting used to the pitch clock. I know Scherzer was having his issues because he's not. He needs more time with it. People are adjusting, so I'm sure Nestor will be fine. Speaking of another Yankee pitcher, Luis Severino. Severino. Oh my God, I know his name. I don't know why.
It's late. I hear.
Yeah, it is late. Yep, but we're here. Luis Severino.
What a debut! 2023 debut from Sevy. Much needed against Cincinnati. It's always good to have Sevy on the team. I mean, the guy's a former Cy Young candidate, all-star. 5 strikeouts, 1 walk, 4 hits allowed, only 1 earned run, and 4.2 innings pitched against Cincinnati. I mean, look, I'll take just 75% of 2017 Sevy on this Yankees team any day, especially when Carlos Rodon gets back. This guy's huge for the Yankees. I mean, he's a homegrown talent. He's been on the team since 2015. it's good to have Sevy back. It's definitely good for the Yankees rotation, the Yankees themselves. It's good to see him
I haven't
back.
seen that long since 2015. That's crazy.
Yeah, he's up there for longest tenured Yankee probably right now.
Yeah, he's close to Jeter. I mean, well, a year before, after he retired.
Yeah,
Literally.
I think he's like, I think him and Hicks were like the last guys to play with Alex Rodriguez.
Really, Hicks? Oh, Hicks played for them.
Yeah, 2016. Yep.
Really? Wow.
Judge might have
You know,
maybe for a game or two.
check this out.
That's
So
pretty
me and my
cool.
buddies are talking about it.
Let me hear it.
I think A-Rod, the Yankees like released A-Rod, whatever, on August 11th, 2016. Judge made his debut the very next day.
Yeah, he did make. Yeah.
So he replaced A-Rod.
Pretty much, yeah.
Right. Yeah. You guys don't remember that?
I feel like I remember
I
that.
don't
But,
remember Judge being the guy.
yeah, but I remember it happened in 2016. I was a senior in high school, or it was the summer before my first year of college. And then like I just never revisited that until like 2 nights ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that like it was yesterday. I remember, the summer 16, the summer 16, and yeah, I remember when A-Rod was retiring and all that. It was a pretty big deal. And then I
Yep.
remember literally it was him and Tyler Austin that came up from AAA
Yep.
to the Yankee roster the very next day, and no one knew anything about Aaron Judge except the Yankee fans that followed
Yeah.
him, throughout the minor league system, and before obviously signing with the Yankees. Like no one, I remember he was struggling a little bit because he was a rookie. Rookies aren't gonna flash out automatically,
Yeah.
without enough experience. And then it was the next year in 2017. That's when
Where
Judge
he went
blew up. That's where he
nuts.
became the
And it
king.
kind of kickstarted this current era we're in right now with the Yankees. Though.
Yeah, it's crazy. And like I said, like I said to my friends, like my coworkers, I said, I never saw Derek Jeter, but I've seen, obviously I've seen Teixeira, I've seen A-Rod, as a Mets fan, from like the Yankees that
You
played
talk
for.
about in person, like
Yeah, in person. Yeah.
yeah.
I never seen I was close to seeing Jeter. I believe that if Jeter didn't get hurt in 2011, I remember he had like a hamstring injury that he
Yep.
went to the IL. I think he would have got the 3,000 hit on my birthday. Well,
Wow.
the game I went to, he would have had to. It would have been like writing it in like a script. Like it would have been the perfect script, perfect story if he got
Yeah.
a 3,000 hit against the New York Mets. But the way he did it was still a good script written.
You know what's crazy? And I think it could kind of go towards our ballpark experiences later, but I actually saw Jeter's last career home run in person.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right, but go back. We should save that. We should save that.
Yeah. Just saying for later. Yep.
Save it for later.
That's my Jeter memory right there.
But yeah, but in terms of Sevy, that's good though. I'm glad you guys got him back, especially with the injuries
It's
going
gonna
on.
be huge for the Yankees. Yep.
That was huge, and especially pitching good against the Reds. And yeah, so no, good for the Yankees for that. Aaron Boone, I feel like he's been getting ejected left from right. I mean, what do you guys make out of it? Like, does that add on to like Aaron Boone's like managerial tenure, like in terms of him helping out the team and showing the manager that he is, like, but does this affect him in any sort of way? You know what I mean?
I think it does, and I'll say why. Anytime I read the comment sections of those videos of him getting tossed or whatnot, or the breakdowns, or just threads, anything like that, the thing that always jumps out to me is non-Yankees fans point out how much they like Aaron Boone because he sticks up for his players.
Right, yeah.
And to me, that means something because as long as you hold on to the locker room, if you're a coach or a manager or whatever position in any sport, it is very hard to get rid of you.
Yep.
Very hard. Because you don't want the star players to turn on you. It makes things very uncomfortable for a lot of people. And that always stands out to me. And truth be told, I always kind of thought that a lot of people that hated on Aaron Boone, it was just very blown out of proportion.
I agree.
This isn't the way baseball used to be. The impact of managers is very watered down compared to what it used to be. So I think he's fine. I think him getting ejected and whatnot, it is what it is. I mean, let's be honest. If you're just going to keep throwing pitches to Aaron Judge 6 inches below the strike zone every single at bat, it's going to get called every single time. He has a right to be mad.
Yeah.
And that's what most of these are. They're objectively bad calls. You
Yep.
could go and look at it. So I have no issue with it. I have no issue for him sticking up for the team. The Yankee way and whatnot. The players are usually pretty stoic. So somebody's got to do it, and it's got to be the manager. I mean, it's part of the job. A lot of times, we all know it. Managers go out just to get a ejection or a technical foul or whatever equivalent in other sports. It happens. I'm all right with it. Doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I definitely 100% agree. And like Dennis said, Boone is arguably the best players manager in the league. Like, they love him. Yeah, they love him. We the fans, I think we only know a fraction of what goes down in the locker room. They love him. Yankees have had multiple trips to ALCS. They're right there.
Yeah.
The guy's doing obviously something right. But another funny thing I want to add to this though is Aaron Boone became he had the earliest ejection ever at 11:54 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think that's hilarious. Yeah, guys just causing mayhem before noon. It's amazing.
Yeah, I didn't know the Yankees were playing that early that Sunday. I was like, my friend, because I was saying when I was heading to the Met game, my friend was watching the game. I'm like, they're playing right now. I'm like, what's going on?
It was so
And,
lame.
Yeah,
it's just so lame, dude.
Yeah, it's.
Why are baseball's ratings down?
The
scheduling this year is awful. And the ratings have been up compared to years past. I'm just being a little overdramatic.
I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly what you're mean.
It's just the scheduling this year, and I don't want to go off on too much of a tangent like I did last episode, but I'll tell you what, the scheduling this year has just been so bad. Bad. I've barely been able to watch the games.
Yeah, and from a
Consistently.
Yankees perspective too, like I think this week alone they're like on like 3 or 4 different streaming services just to watch a Yankee game. It's like, how many streaming services do I got to pay for to watch my favorite team?
Right.
Like, come on.
Oh my God.
I had this exact conversation with my dad like an hour and a half ago.
Yeah, it's insane.
I don't think I've watched a game off. The only thing, luckily, I have SNY, the SNY app. That's where I've been, watching the Met games whenever I'm on the road.
Yeah.
I don't think I've had to gone on Apple, Apple TV or Peacock. I don't think I've had to do that yet. Not that I know of, but
be thankful.
So yeah, I don't know. I haven't run into the issue yet, but when I do, you guys will be the first. And for all the Battin and Chattin viewers, you too. And then we got Dennis has a melon, pineapple.
Yeah, I thought I had to sneeze and then it went away. So I was like, all right,
that was
That's the worst.
Screaming in people's
the worst.
For a few seconds.
Folks. I don't know why I said melon. I'm like,
I genuinely forget why my email is set up with the pineapple. I forget. It's been like that for 10 years. And you know what? I'm just gonna let 12-year-old Dennis.
It's just iconic at this point. You gotta keep it.
Yeah, you just gotta let it go. So before we talk about Aaron Judge, I feel like we definitely have to talk about Josh Donaldson. Now I know he's been trying to make a recovery coming back from, the IL, but I know he did have a reoccurrence. I know this happened last week, but it should be brought up now, where he sliced his thumb in his house. But he did return. He didn't return. It's delayed now after initially being out with a hamstring injury he suffered in April. So, fellas, what the heck, man? Does this guy not know how to use a knife?
He's trying to cut a pineapple, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. He's
kidding.
Cutting some pineapples.
But honestly, when Josh Donaldson comes back,
I'm not gonna kill him for it. I mean, look at Jaylen Brown in the NBA. He had a hand injury that was an actual problem in the playoffs, and just nobody really thought to ask about it. Right. It happens. Weird injuries happen all the time. I mean, now if you're doing something stupid like Trevor Bauer cutting his finger open on a drum during the World Series, there's that. And who was it? Was it Bobby Ojeda from the Mets who cut his leg with a chainsaw or a weed whacker or something?
What?
In the playoffs?
In the playoffs. Playoffs.
Buddy, you're
I know who you're talking about though, but I know that
thing cut out.
Say it again.
This might have been a me problem. Hold on a second. I can't hear you guys.
I can hear you. Nick, can you hear me?
I hear you. I hear both of you.
You know what happened? I accidentally I'm getting used to the new thing here. He's just fidgeting with it. I'm sorry.
Wait,
Yeah, I
who-
was just talking. Yeah, I couldn't get that last 30 seconds, so I might have talked over you. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. You can hear us now, though?
Yeah, I can hear you guys
Okay.
fine now. Yeah,
Cool,
that
cool.
was a me problem.
But either way, I hope Josh Donaldson. Got to be careful when you're cutting food, man. Come on.
Yeah. But I did hear today, I think it was Boone who said it. When Donaldson comes back, he's gonna be an everyday third baseman, he said. Everyday player.
I don't like that.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
crazy about it. I mean, like, look, the guy's got a good glove. He's a solid third baseman.
He was
Offense is a
phenomenal.
little,
I remember his
but
MVP year 15.
everyday player. I mean, come on, like
Well, who's been playing
Donaldson.
third base for now? Like in place of him?
It's usually like DJ LeMahieu or
Yeah, DJ. Definitely not
yeah,
IKF.
they switch around. Yeah, it's like a platoon kind of.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, everyday player for Donaldson. I mean, like, I know they want to justify that trade so bad that happened a year ago, but it's like, is he gonna hit? Like, I mean, last year, let's see, let's pull up Donaldson's numbers from last year because they were not good.
Yeah, I was about to say I have him in front of me there.
Yeah, they were not good. I mean, he was only batting. I know he only played a few games, but he only batted 125 to begin this year. I mean, it's not really a good start. He had that one home run. But yeah, 222, 308, 374. I mean, like, he's 37 years old, 38 years old. Like, everyday player. Come on. Like, I don't know. I like DJ at third. I like the little platoon action they got going. And, I mean, they're playing great. So, why mess up the chemistry here?
I totally agree with that. And as you said, they're trying to justify that trade. Look, I'm not going to make too big of an argument, but you got rid of Gary Sanchez, who has been struggling to get consistent playing time at the major league level, which we'll get to, I'm sure, in a bit.
Yes.
Him, his debut with the Mets.
Yeah.
And Gio Urshela, which was an expiring deal for IKF, who at the very worst is going to be an off-the-bench utility guy that can play, 7 positions?
Yeah,
6
he plays
positions?
everywhere. Yeah, he plays everywhere.
And obviously the Josh Johnson contract, which people point to, but because he was a prospect, people often forget catcher Ben Rortvedt was also in that deal. And he's come
awesome.
up and he's played very well and has been a great spark plug for this New York Yankees roster.
Oh, yeah. No, he's awesome.
We'll see how it sustains and whatnot. But if he's what they're saying he is, that's a big win for the Yankees. I think that trade got way too pandered then. I think it gets way too pandered now.
Yeah,
Gary Sanchez is half out of the league, and Gio Urshela or Josh Donaldson. Donaldson's a better defender, and the upside offensively, I think it outweighs it.
Yeah, I hear you. But but Ben Rortvedt, though, I mean, I think he has the highest upside of any rostered Yankee catcher right now by far. 5'9", 191 pounds. This guy can freaking mash the ball. I mean, he was fantastic in the minors. I think he batted like 327. Yeah, he batted 327, 421 on base percentage, 612 slugging. Yeah, I mean, I think he's the real deal. But I agree. I think that trade did get a little too much hate. I mean, look, if Donaldson can even just tap into maybe his 2019 form when he's with the Braves, I think, like, hey, I'll take it. But everyday player seems a little excessive to me for Donaldson. But hey, look, if you just play good defense at third, swing a somewhat good bat, better than Aaron Hicks was doing, I'll take it. I'll definitely take it.
Yeah, and I think that's what it is I think they should use him as like a specialist against lefties. We're seeing that around the league. The Rays do it with Taylor Walls. The Diamondbacks are doing it doggone near half their lineup.
Yeah.
Using certain guys for home games or away games, certain guys for lefties versus righties. You get the point. I think that's what Donaldson should be for the Yankees.
Yes.
And late game, if you want to use him as a defensive replacement and then move DJ over to second or whatever, fine by me.
Yep.
But
exactly.
everyday player, getting 3, 4, 5 at bats a game.
Yeah, he needs to go back to 2015 form if we're talking that. Like,
Yeah, it's especially with the way this Yankees team has been. Even
exactly.
despite all the injuries, they still have a pretty decent run differential. I know that's not a be-all end-all stat, but plus 32, it's kind of surprising, but that's kind of one of the higher ones around Major League Baseball this year.
Yep.
Good for you guys. Good for you guys. Yeah, I feel like that covers the Yankees as much. I feel like we
I
shift
agree.
here a little bit to my New York Mets. Speaking of Gary Sanchez, he was called up from AAA Syracuse and was added to the Mets roster before the Guardian series. As Tomas Nido's on IL, Omar Narvaez was a free agent signing in the offseason. He was still injured. He's actually coming back, and I know him pretty sure he pitched a rehab. He played a rehab assignment in single A. So he is on the way to coming back, and that adds up to another question later, but we should talk about Gary Sanchez for a bit. Now, when I saw him play Sunday, he looked decent. Not so many wild pitches. A lot of balls were covered in the dirt. And my good friend Joe, who is the Yankee mascot, I say, he was saying to me, he's like, "You guys wouldn't have won today if you guys didn't have Gary Sanchez." He was getting so hyped up that Gary Sanchez was coming up. And he's like, and I'm like, because obviously he got the sac fly, and just him being a good catcher. But yeah, so I definitely like the addition of Gary Sanchez. I mean, if he can be a backup or who knows, because the catching position with the Mets right now is it's insane. Because who knows what they're going to do at the position? Who's going to have to get sent down? Maybe DFA'd. A lot to do with that position. But what do you guys make of Gary Sanchez now on the Mets? Like, how do you think that helps them going forward now?
I mean, I don't watch the Mets as much as you do, so I could be totally out of bounds here. But I think Nito, right? That's his name, Nito.
Tomas Nido, yeah.
Yeah, I was never crazy about him. I mean, like, I think Sanchez has a somewhat bit of a higher ceiling than him.
Oh yeah.
If he's your backup catcher, maybe Alvarez, that guy starts, really playing to his potential. It's not bad. I mean, it's not horrible. Sanchez has some pop. I haven't really watched Sanchez's defense in a long time, but from what I remember, it's rough. It's horrible at blocking. I mean,
He was
I don't
different
know.
when I saw him. I mean,
Yeah, he's horrible at blocking, but I mean, look, if he's your backup catcher and Alvarez is doing great, I don't know. I don't think it's the worst of things. I mean, you definitely go wrong. Nito, he is like one of the worst like offensive statistics I've ever seen. I mean,
it's not good
I'm
enough.
not too sure how well his defense is, but I mean, it makes sense for the Mets at the end of the day. They love Yankees used toys. They love that. So I mean, but yeah, I mean, it makes sense for him.
Right, and think of Tomas Nido. I mean, good. There was times he was good. Like he was a
Yeah,
good, at least 220, which I mean, look, that's not eye popping, but he was a decent hitter, and his defense was all right. I think the
okay.
reason why the Mets kept on him is because the pitching staff loved him. Some players would have
That's
him as their
huge.
personal
Yeah,
pitcher, which I get. But I think in terms of, I mean, he might be the odd man out. I don't know what you're gonna do with Narvaez because you just signed him in the offseason
yeah,
to be the backup, one of the backup catchers, and he's coming back. He was playing good Narvaez for a bit against the Marlins before he got hurt. He was, pitching a couple. He was having, a couple good games, where he was hitting, but who knows what they're gonna do. I definitely, if they sent down Alvarez, to me, I think that's like the worst thing they could do. Like, when you have pitchers like Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer that could teach him, the ropes around the league. I know they're not catchers, but they're one of the best pitchers.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and especially when they're advocating for him to stay, then that's when like he has the potential to be great and that he is doing something. He has the energy, he has the work ethic, he wants to be there, he loves being a Met. So I think if they send Alvarez down, I think that's the worst thing they could do. And I know a lot of people agree with me.
So does Alvarez usually catch for like Verlander and Scherzer, or is like
He's
yeah,
been. I know he did Sunday night, I think, for Verlander.
yeah?
Uh,
Personally, I mean, before he even got called up, I was a big Alvarez fan. So I mean, I'm rooting for the kid. I think he's got a lot of potential. I think he's your easy answer at catcher. I mean, I haven't really watched him play a lot this year, but that's just what I figured.
So what I think about their situation is, I think they should DH Alvarez, and I think they should use Omar Narvaez as their starting catcher and use Gary Sanchez as the backup catcher.
Okay.
That's just what I think.
Yeah.
I think, look, just based on some of the stats here, small sample size, defensive analytics are not a be all end all. But something that jumped out to me is Francisco Alvarez has a caught stealing percentage of 11. League average is 21.
Wow.
That kind of stands out to me. He's got an OPS plus of 110, batting 238, 5 home runs, 11 RBIs, 23 strikeouts. But as a young kid in 28 games, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
92 plate appearances. Stick with him. He's one of your highest rated prospects. I know they called up Mark Vientos for a bit. He hasn't really been playing well at all.
It's only a couple games.
Only a few games, right? Only a few games, but I guess that DH role. He's on Baseball Reference. He's listed as a DH. It looks like he has experience playing third and other positions.
His first at bat was a home run, right? Or was it his first hit?
Something like
third,
that.
Like the third at bat.
Third at bat
for maybe first game, but they have Brett Beatty on the roster. Okay, so maybe that's where it gets a little muddied up. But
yeah,
I don't know. They just They just have had kind of an assortment of players this year, man. Tomas Nido, he's a negative 24 OPS plus, and he struggles with injuries. I don't really see a role for him on this team between Omar Narvaez, who's on the 60-day DL. He's not coming back anytime soon. But I just don't see a role for Tomas Nido long term.
Yeah,
especially if Gary Sanchez at one point balls out. Once again, like Gary Sanchez, when he's on, I mean, he's one of the best offensive catchers in the league.
Yeah,
when he's on. And he's going to go through stretches when he's like that. He's going to go through stretches where he hits multiple home runs in a 10-game span or a 1-week span or whatever. And you're just going to live with him. There's going to be times where he strikes out 4 or 5 times in a game or 10 times in a series. He's very feast or famine. But if you're comfortable enough with his defense behind the plate, I think that's a gamble most managers and most front offices would take. And they're kind of loaded at catcher. They brought it in for a reason.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, I agree. All right. I think that basically covers the Mets for now. Let's dive into the MLB world. I want to talk about this upcoming prospect from the Dodgers in Bobby Miller. I know he was called up for his debut against the Braves. What do you guys make of him?
Love him. So little fantasy baseball talk here. I'm in a few dynasty leagues, keeper leagues, whatever. Bobby Miller was on my list on every draft. He's on my cheat sheets. Like, look, he's a Dodgers pitching prospect. Like, I mean, that alone is just money right there. So great debut against the Atlanta Braves, a team to be reckoned with. He got the win. 5 strikeouts and 5 innings pitched, only 4 hits allowed, 1 earned run allowed, 1 walk. He's got the stuff, man. I love this kid. Yeah, I mean, most of the time his pitches, they sit around 97 to 99 miles per hour. That's insane. He's got a killer fastball and slider, and he can hit 101. So I mean, I think, especially pitching at Dodger Stadium, this kid's going to be good, man.
Dennis?
What he said. I mean, he's a Dodger pitching prospect. That is as blue chip as it gets in Major League Baseball. They know their pitchers very well. They've had reclamation projects work out for them. Andrew Heaney, Tyler Anderson, just to name a few.
Yep.
I don't see any reason why he can't get, legitimate minutes for them and legitimate starts and be a crucial part of this team. He's a young dude, right?
Yeah,
he's a young guy, 23 years old.
Yeah.
You obviously have him under control for a long time. let's be honest, Kershaw isn't getting any younger. You kind of need new
Right.
blood, so to speak.
Someone to take the
And
reins.
Dustin May and Walker Bueller and Bobby Miller, that they're going to be a part of that.
Yep.
And Tony Gonsolin, who hasn't been nearly as good as he was last year, but he's still going to be a part of that.
And then
And
I
from
know he's
what
hurt. Julio Urias or
Reyes, yeah,
yeah, I know he's hurt though. I think he's gotten injured, but still him
pretty
too. I
young
think
guy, but with a lot of mileage
yeah,
on him. A lot of
yeah,
mileage.
he does. He came up really young. Yep.
So, I mean, we'll see how it pans out. I mean, he only one start so far, but I mean, hey man, it's something to build on.
Exactly.
I can't buy the Dodgers calling up a pitching prospect who they've worked very hard to hold on to and then have him not pan out. I don't trust that. They're a very competent organization. I trust them.
Yes, I
That's
agree. 19th overall prospect. I think this kid's gonna be the real deal.
good for him. Good for
Crazy.
Bobby Miller. To feel the energy, I'm sure, especially when you're a Dodgers prospect. And man, the Dodgers. They're going to be a loaded team from the next, probably the next decade. I don't know.
Oh yeah, they're
Since
always there. It's insane.
after 2011, I remember when they were in the bottom of the payroll, and having to be bought out. New ownership.
Magic
Um,
Johnson.
Magic Johnson, yeah. So I just haven't seen them on really a decline. Honestly, I feel like every year they've been one of the most consistent teams in the league.
Yep.
And to your point, Brandon, it's not just Bobby Miller. I mean, Will Smith is a young guy, one of the best offensive catchers in the league, proven player.
Yep.
Gavin Lux his season last year was pretty good. Hurt for I think the entire season this
I think
year.
he's out for the year this year. Yeah,
Right.
sadly.
Right, yeah.
And
That's
then
yeah.
Julio Urias, who's been in the big league since 2016.
Yeah, I remember when he came up.
Jesus, time flies. And I mean, he's still a pretty young guy. He's only I don't know why they don't have it on here. Hold on a second. I just had it here. He's 4 years older than me, so he's only 27.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
still
when he came
Only
up,
27 years old.
middle of
I
your
mean,
prime.
I remember when he came up. I remember him playing against the Mets. I don't think that's when he came. That was his debut. I might be wrong. Maybe I got to look it up. But I remember when he came up in 2016. He was really young.
Yeah. And they also have that kid in the outfield, James Outman. That kid is 26. I think this is his first real big year up in the league. I mean, he's got what? He's got 9 home runs already. He's batting 245. He's still young. He's gonna get that up. But 497 slugging. Alvin can rake, man. And then when you think about it all, I mean, you still got Mookie Betts. I mean, the guy's only 30 years old, man. You got him for good amount of time. The Dodgers, that's like Brandon said, next decade, they're sitting pretty, man.
Yeah. All right. A team that you guys aren't gonna like, who it's kind of they've been. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain with them because they're not really your favorite team, so to speak. Not saying they're sitting pretty. I know Josh would say otherwise. Um, Jose Altuve, he just recently returned from the IL. He
Yeah.
made his season debut. What does this mean for the Astros in getting a player like Jose Altuve back on that team? Because they just won the World Series last year. So they could be sitting pretty for the next couple of years, or who knows what goes on with that organization. But what do you guys think of that?
well, here comes the cavalry. They're 3 games behind the Texas Rangers as of right now.
Oh,
They've had a lot of injuries. Michael Brantley hasn't had a single AB this season. Lance McCullers has been hurt. I think Jordan might have missed a little bit of time. Some guys have stepped up tremendously. Mauricio Dubon hitting over 300. Jeremy Pena struggled early on. Not 100% sure how he's doing now, but overall, this team has had a lot of injuries, and for them to get, really good players back, healthy, contributing, I mean, that could go a long way. Let's be honest. I understand that the Rangers are ahead of them. Marcus Semien is one of the highest wins above replacement in the league. Terrific start to the season. But guys, come on. The Astros, that whole roster is loaded.
Yeah,
Loaded.
that's a team I do not want to see again in the playoffs at all. Jerry
Right.
Pena, I mean, come on, he proved it last year in the playoffs. This kid's the real deal. He's gonna be fine rest of the way. I think he's starting to heat up a little bit after that slow start. But to answer your question, Brandon, I mean, Altuve, he's the judge for the Astros. He's the cap. He's pretty much the captain. He's the 2017 MVP.
Yeah.
Arguably, I mean, in my opinion, he's the best second baseman in baseball when healthy. That's huge for him. That's like when the Yankees get Stanton or Rodon back. The Calvary's calling, like Dennis said. Altuve's a huge bat, man. He's the heart of that lineup. He's clutch in the postseason. I mean, Astros and Rangers. I'm really pulling for the Rangers in that division. I want to see some new blood come up in that division, but I mean, it's gonna be tough with Houston right there on their tails for sure.
Mm.
But Altuve though did leave yesterday's game with an illness, so kind of he's back, but kind of sucks. They literally just got him back. Now
Yeah.
he's suffering an illness, but that's minor. He's gonna be back by the weekend, so it's huge for the Astros. It's gonna be scary for the rest of the league.
Yeah, I agree. Dennis, anything else?
No, that's it. I got my points out there.
Yeah, definitely. I know Altuve. I remember last year when we went to the game, he was hitting 300. I remember fans kept booing him, which I get it respectfully. I get it.
Always boo Altuve.
I get it.
Always, man.
And he was like 4 for 4. He was like insane that night. Like he was just dominating.
Yeah, I mean, he had a very good year last year. Top 5 MVP, 28 home runs, batted 300. I mean, 18 stolen bases. That's his most since 2017. He used to be a speedster back in the day. But it's only been 4 games, so take it with a grain of salt this year. But 4 walks already, though. I mean, he's seen the ball really well. That's something he's always been able to do well. 1 RBI, 1 double, 3 hits. He's gonna be a stud rest of the way of the season for sure.
Got you. Trevor Bauer. Man, I feel like
Oh boy.
unfortunately, for unfortunate reasons, I don't know. I don't want to say it, but yeah, I don't want to say it, but
Not very popular.
he's definitely not very popular in the world of baseball. I know he's been struggling in Japan now.
Yeah, he got sent down to the minor leagues in Japan. Now, admittedly, I don't want to sound too much like a jerk, but I don't know their minor league system, how it relates to the U.S. minor league system, what the differences are, and whatnot, so on and so forth. But it has not been good. It really has not been good. It is.
Either way, for Trevor Bauer, just either way, wherever he's pitching, whether it's in like wherever he's pitching, whether he's on Mars or what I'm trying to say. He can't seem to find make anything positive with his situations wherever he is, whether it's overseas or it's in the U.S. It's just it's crazy what's going on with Trevor Bauer. But hey, he did it to himself.
Yeah, I agree, but yeah, he definitely got rocked in Japan. I mean, I didn't really watch any of the games. I don't watch Japanese baseball too much because I have no access to it really. But yeah, I mean, 15 innings, 37 innings pitched, and he has 19 earned runs and 37 innings pitched. 45 strikeouts, only 4 walks though. But yeah, he got rocked. He got rocked this year in Japan. Rocking a 4.62 ERA. It's not looking pretty for him. He missed the whole year of baseball. I mean, that's never good for a pitcher either. I mean, unless you're an absolute unit like Justin Verlander or something. But
there you go.
But I love JV, so I had to throw that in there. But yeah, I think Bauer. I think his career in MLB, it's done. I don't think any team's gonna take the PR risk and poor play in Japan.
Look, let's be honest. It isn't just the off the field legal issues he had. Look, let's be honest. Our society is supposed to work. You're innocent until proven guilty. He wasn't proven guilty throughout, multiple attempts in the court of law. So I can't, as much as I'm appalled by the allegations, I can't. How much can I really, you know what I mean? Like, how much can I really say this guy doesn't deserve a shot? However,
Yeah.
if you think the league is happy that he exposed that whole sticky stuff pitching thing, oh, you're out of your mind. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, that was a real awkward moment for Major League Baseball to have one of its superstar players say, and somebody with a big online presence and one of the most vocal MLB players, maybe the most, to be honest, current Major League Baseball players,
Yeah.
and be open about what some people would constitute as cheating, right? Because the stark advantage it gives pitchers. They're not a big fan of that, and you see the way he's pitching in Japan. Like, there's a lot of stuff different in Japan. The ball is different. The like, not even just in size, but it already has kind of like a tackiness to it. It's a different style. I mean, who knows? Who knows?
Who
But
knows?
we'll see. We'll see how it pans out. Let's be honest. He's also had stretches like this throughout his career.
Yes.
I'll never forget when Tito Francona took him out of the Cleveland game and he threw the ball over to center field.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just saw that clip recently too.
I mean, he's had a good past couple of seasons, but he's not exactly a blue chipper that's a shoo-in for the Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah,
You know what I
agree.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
if this was like Justin Verlander or Garrett Cole or somebody, then I would be like, whoa. But he's had stretches in it throughout his career where he's just played poorly. So
Yeah.
who knows? Maybe this really is it. Even
be.
aside from off-field issues, maybe it just really is. He's not as good as he once was.
Yeah. It's like I said earlier in the episode too, like, with Hicks, like injuries happen, when teams get desperate, I mean, you gotta look to alternatives and everything. So
I
we'll
just
see.
I just don't think the league would take the PR. I don't think a team would take the
I
PR.
I agree with that.
I think
yeah.
it's over.
I agree with that as well.
All right, that settles that. Eric Hosmer. He was recently designated for assignment for the from the Chicago Cubs. Does he? I mean, just judging on that, does he still have enough in the tank, or do you think it was? Do you think it was right that the Cubs let him go and he should move on somewhere else?
I think it was the right move to let him go. My buddy's a big Cubs fan, and he called this from the get-go. He was like, Hosmer's going to get DFA at some point in the year once he starts, hitting horrible. And Matt Mervis was going to, be the guy to take that spot at first base. And Matt Mervis, that kid is he's a good prospect. That's another prospect I like, along with like Bobby Miller. He's got a lot of power. Good, solid first baseman. And now the Cubs, they're kind of dwindling down in the stands a little bit as well. So, I mean, I don't think Hosmer was ever really part of their plans for the future. But, I mean, I could see a team, like I just said again, injuries happen. You never know. Maybe a winning team or something might take him as like a backup first baseman. I don't know. Depends who gets hurt, who doesn't. But
Right.
I'm not surprised by this move by the Cubs at all.
Yeah, I mean, he just signed. It was weird because they signed him in free agency for a veteran minimum because he was already being paid $28 million by San Diego after he got released. I think it's over for him. I think it's over for him.
Yeah.
I think his only role is as kind of like almost like a veteran kind of player coach role for like a young team.
Yep.
Maybe he's from South Florida. Maybe Miami would take him for that kind of a role to be a
Yeah.
veteran, a young team. Maybe Oakland would take. Well, that would require them spending money, so I doubt that. But I think maybe bring him in to a team like that, a young team, a young core. Just kind of show these guys how to be a pro.
Yeah,
Like let's be honest. Look what Andrew McCutcheon's been for the Pirates and how
exactly.
he's turned that around. So maybe there is a role in that regard, but it's been a bad couple of years. And it's
Yeah.
and what it is, it starts off really. It usually starts off decently well for him, and then it peters out, and it crashes hard.
Yes.
And I think that's going to be in the back of teams' minds.
Yep.
I don't know. The Cubs fall off in general is bizarre, man.
Yeah, they started
Patrick
off.
Wisdom started off great. Now he's played some bad games. Seiya Suzuki started off well. Their whole team has just gone ice cold. And I know that because I foolishly bought in and my fantasy teams have been getting ravaged by this
So
decline.
with Hosmer being DFA'd, I mean, I think it kind of raises the question, if the Cubs keep slipping in the standings. Bellinger was a 1-year deal, right?
Yes.
Do they trade Bellinger? I mean, Bellinger was off to a crazy start. I know he's hurt right now, but do they trade Bellinger? Do they trade Mancini? Like, are they? We're gonna see these guys on different squads by July or August. I mean,
If I was the general manager of the team, I'd say yes. You already have Ian Happ locked up. He's not going anywhere, and he has a no trade clause. So there's that. Also, I don't know how their farm system works, but the National League Central is very, very winnable.
yeah,
Very winnable. Maybe you try to go for a younger core. You have Seiya Suzuki under contract for some time. I would trade off some of the rentals, some of the more veteran bats and whatnot. The guys that in their stage of a career should be in a win now situation,
agreed.
wherever that goes, and get, prospects or
Yeah.
cash or maybe roll 5 draft picks, something in return, some kind
Yeah,
of compensation for it. You can't take them with you, right? I mean, you got to do what you got to do. I think they signed Cody Bellinger with the intent to flip him at some point. So I
exactly.
wouldn't be. I think he'd be gone. So
Bellinger was one guy I really wanted in the offseason on the
for the
Yankees.
Yankees,
Yeah, I love Bellinger. He's one of my favorite players
Sorry, yeah.
ever. I know left field was a little
wow.
questionable at the end of the year, but looking back at it in hindsight now, I think it's really makes too
Wasn't
much sense
Bellinger like an
anymore.
MVP candidate like a couple years ago with the
Bellinger
Dodgers?
was
What
an
an
MVP.
MVP!
Yeah. Oh, he did.
2019.
He did win it.
I
Right.
love Bellinger, man. It's one of my favorite players ever. But I hope to see him go to I hope he keeps hitting well, gets back in that 2019 form like he has been. Plays for a nice winning team. I'd love to see that for him.
I mean, he fell off badly last
He
year.
did. He did.
Really,
The fall off was real.
That's what happens.
Yeah, the guy I wanted the Yankees to get was Yoshida.
Oh yeah, Yoshida's
Really
crazy,
wanted
man.
him. Really
of
wanted him.
course, and of course he goes to Boston. It sickens my stomach.
All right. I think we'll talk about one more topic before we talk about one off topic. All right. I'll give you guys the choice. Do you guys want to talk about the St. Louis Cardinals or the San Diego Padres? Which team is more hot, or do you feel like something that you need to talk about right now?
Well, I've seen the Padres in person on Friday, so I mean, and I feel like we talked about the Cardinals last week, so maybe we talk a little Padres this week. If
I'd say
that's
so.
cool with you guys.
Sure.
But the Padres, that's just depressing to look at, and the standings. I don't know what's going on there. 22 and 26, 8 games out of first.
A team
was not expecting this from.
A team that I wanted to say last week. I know we talked about teams to us that are shocking. San Diego Padres, that's the number one team I should have mentioned. I know the Phillies are shocking, but they're picking it up. But the Padres, man, that's a team to me that's surprising and disappointing because like the talent that they have in the lineup that they added in the offseason, and I know it's only a month and a half. It's going to be 2 months coming up, but really, I feel like their record should be speaking better for what it is.
You have 2 generational talents, probably 3, in Tatis Soto, and Machado. I mean, Bogarts is no slouch either. When you say those four names, I'm like, oh, your team's going to be way above 500 at least. But wow, I mean, they are just slipping in the standings. I mean, that's just it's kind of unacceptable at this point. I mean, I know it's a tough division, kind of. I mean, it's really just the Dodgers, though. And I know the Diamondbacks are kind of playing above expectations a little bit. But, like, come on. Like, when you have those four guys, solid pitching, Joe Musgrove, I mean, who are supposed to be solid, Blake Snell, you Darvish, I feel like this team is just way underperforming.
But I mean, you just said guys like Blake Snell, Joe Musgrove. They haven't been having good seasons.
Yeah, Blake Snell, horrible.
5.4 ERA, and Joe Musgrove in 5 games, 6.75 ERA.
He's having a rough start to begin of the year.
You Darvish, he's 3-3 at 3.67 ERA. Michael Wacha 5-1.
Wacha's been pretty good.
3.58. And Seth Lugo had some good games for them.
Former Met.
Correct. 4.10 ERA. Not great, but not awful. And Ryan Weathers, 23-year-old lefty, 3.42. So it's kind of like a bit of a hodgepodge of starters. It seems like you don't know what you're getting from these guys.
Yeah.
You Darvish and Michael Wacha, that's pretty good. Ryan Weathers, that's promising. But every other day, you don't know what you're getting from Seth Lugo. Blake Snell, I don't know what's going on there.
He was like on top of the world back in 2018.
Yeah.
And then ever since that World Series, ever since he got pulled from that game, I don't know what's been going on with him since he's.
I'm kind of waiting for him to go on and run with San Diego, and it feels like it just hasn't happened yet.
It might not happen at all.
Joe Musgrove, I mean, he was supposed to be one of the centerpieces of this team, was he not?
He was solid last year, Joe Musgrove. No,
yeah,
So I don't know. I just feel like he could be so much better. But you Darvish, I mean, he's not getting any younger either. Like Kershaw, like you said earlier. I mean,
oh no, he's 36.
This is your ace. I mean, like I love Darvish. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, even last year, I mean, 2 years prior, he had a 4.22 ERA on the season, went 8-11, had a good year last year, 16-8, 3.10 ERA, and a 0.950 WHIP. I mean, I love Darvish. Don't get me wrong, that guy throws strikeouts for days, but I just feel like that rotation's missing something. Now I'm looking at it more.
And I mean, they have a $100 million payroll too.
Yep.
And a lot of that money is guaranteed for quite some time.
Before we dive into the other topic, news that just broke out a couple hours ago, Carlos Correa has been diagnosed with a muscle strain in his left foot and plantar fasciitis.
That's what LeBron had.
Really?
Yeah, you need to see the LeBron James of feet, like LeBron had to. And he'll be all right.
Let's hope.
Did you say how long is he be out for, or out at all, or?
I haven't gotten an update yet. No. All right. One last topic before we end episode 2 of Battin and Chattin. And we were talking about this earlier. I would say, I don't know if you guys want to rank them, but the MLB stadiums that you've been to and the others that you wish you could have, like, what was the MLB stadium to you guys that stood out when you guys went there for the first time?
So I've seen a game at 5, and I've been to 6. I didn't see a game at Fenway Park. I just went there for a tour when I was in Boston once. Seemed okay. It seemed all right. Old school,
Very
a lot
old.
of history, yeah. So that I'm taking out of it. If I'm ranking the 5, I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, man.
Oh boy.
I'll count from worst to best. Shea is 5th.
Really?
Easily.
Okay.
Shea, I just didn't like. I thought it was.
Well, when the time you went to Shea, it was also declining.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was like.
It was in its dying age.
It was run down.
Back in its day, Shea was like,
I have next the original Yankee Stadium, just because I went there once when I was like 7 or 8.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
tough.
really remember it much. I do remember. I kind of remember the bathroom situation being pretty annoying, and it seemed like everything was kind of spread out.
Yeah.
But once again, as a kid, everything does. So just because I can't fairly assess it, I have to put it out that way. Yankee Stadium, the current Yankee Stadium, I have next. The wings, delicious. That wings, buddy.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about too, Nick?
Oh
Love it,
yeah. Of
I know the wings
course.
you're talking
love
about.
it.
Yeah, I know.
So that I love. Monument Park is awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like it's interesting. It's different from a lot of ballparks. It's less of like a stadium feel. Some people criticize it for this less of a stadium feel, more of like the cathedral of baseball kind
Yeah.
of a
A
thing,
museum.
right? Which I really like. It's not the same building, but the history of the New York Yankees, the culture. Then
Yeah.
I have City Field. I like it. I like that whole little food court section thing they have that's outside that
It
pavilion.
is cool there.
I
Yeah.
like it. The apple is dope. Number one for me, Lone Depot Park, easily.
Yeah.
Easy.
Oh yeah,
Love Lone
you
Depot
have been
Park.
there. Yeah.
Went there, went on the field of the championship game of the World Baseball Classic this year. Went on the
Wow.
field before it. So how could I not like it? The sushi there was really good.
Nice.
The team store, best team store I've ever been in, have to say. Very big. Um, I just really liked it. It was easy to get around. Like, I only went there for 2 games, and halfway through the first game, I felt like I knew the place off the back of my hand. It was easy to get around.
That's awesome.
So I really liked it. I really liked it. No public transportation to get there, but the Ubers down there were dumb cheap, which shocked me.
Nice.
That's good for you.
So I was all right. I really liked it. Really, really liked it.
All right, all right, all right. This is tough because like I don't know what I really want to base it off because all the stadiums I've been to have been fantastic, amazing. You know, it's kind of hard, so I'm trying not to put my bias with it. I guess I'm trying to think of more of like just how I felt. I don't mind Yankee Stadium; it's not bad, but like it's like City Field. It's a stadium that City Field's not high on my list either. Look, I love City Field. I'm a big Met fan, and I love City Field. Like, that's why I go to as many Met games as I do. But like, it's always cool when I always travel to other stadiums too. Because, like I said, I'm a big baseball fan, so I like seeing other stadiums and seeing what it's like there, and just to say, like, hey, like I've been to Fenway, I've been to But yeah, it's true. I've been to Canton, I've been to Fenway. I've been to Petco Park in San Diego, and obviously,
Awesome.
yeah, and obviously Yankee Stadium and City Field. So I'm gonna put Yankee Stadium number 5. I put City Field number 4. I would say I'd say Canyon Yard number 3. It was not bad, but I like Fenway. I'm gonna put Fenway number 2 because I just like the history and just the atmosphere. Just seeing the Green Monster in person, it was pretty cool. And then number 1, I got to put Petco Park. The only reason because I went there to see the home run derby. I saw Stanton win it in 2016. It was San Diego, the city. It's beautiful. The stadium, just the weather, like just the atmosphere was great, and just the derby, I like how they did it. It's really a beautiful park, so I definitely recommend if people go there, definitely try it out. That's just how I feel. No disrespect to Yankee Stadium,
Nah, I
it
hear.
is still fun going there, but maybe they'll be higher on my list. But like, it's just in terms, like I said, City Field is low too. They could, City Field's, even though I love it, City Field's great. It's one of my all time favorite stadiums.
Yeah.
I guess in terms of history and just like, and that's where I put it.
Yeah. For me, so I've been to kind of similar story with you, Dennis. I've been to Fenway, but not for a baseball game. I went for the Winter Classic this year. Bruins versus Penguins.
Oh yes.
Me and my girlfriend went. Thank you to Michael Brandt. Shout out to Michael Brandt if you're listening to this. Got us tickets. So I mean, it's kind of hard to rank it because now we're talking baseball here for a baseball game. I had never been there for a baseball game, so it's gonna be. I've been to 5 different stadiums in my life, so I'll put that number 5.
Right.
Number 4, again, similar of Dennis because my memory isn't as good with it because I was a younger kid. The original Yankee Stadium. I've been to a good amount of handful of games there. Just don't really didn't really cherish it like I would now as an older gentleman. But that'd be my number 4. Number 3. It's been a while since I've been there, but I love the vibe there. It's awesome there. I think it's more, it's very baseball. Like I love how you can tailgate there and everything too. City Field, beautiful stadium. I'm not gonna let my homerism get the best of me here. So number 2, but I've had the best memories there. Me and my buddies last month were able to get onto the field because my buddy Adam caught the. I don't know if you guys remember Ryan Lamar. He was a journeyman. He was a
Yep.
Yankee for a season.
2021.
Yep. My buddy Adam caught his first Yankee home run. Gave the ball back to him. Due to COVID and other things, we weren't able to meet and greet him. So they gave us 4 VIP passes. Saw Battin practice, went on the field, and we went on Yankee Stadium's field, the current Yankee Stadium. Going on the field that night after the game, it was the game where Judge robbed Ohtani of the home run, then hit a home run of his own. Awesome memory. God, now that I'm talking, it might be my number 1, but number 1, Brandon, I'm joining right with you, man. Petco Park.
Really? You've been to Petco Park?
I've been to Petco Park 2018.
It's nice, right?
Oh, dude, it's beautiful. People walking their dogs and stuff. It's great.
Yeah.
It's like it's a doggy park. I'm a big dog guy, so that sold me. I was like, this
Who
is
isn't?
awesome.
Who isn't?
Yeah.
You know what? Before we get back, you know what? I'm gonna replace Fenway, or was it Fenway number 2? I'm gonna put Citi Field at number 2 because I do have some memories at Citi Field. I keep
The
forgetting.
memories was makes it, man. I mean,
I have a lot of memories there. Either like, I will put the memories over there because like I went to Banner Day. I've had a lot of memories with my Aunt Jenny, rest in peace. Just seeing, like I said, I'm a big Met fan. I have a lot of memories there. It's a area. It's like the Citi Field stadium that holds a place in my heart. So I got to put them at number 2. I can't.
sentimental
I can't
value, man. It's huge, bro.
So yeah. But
yeah,
Petco Park, it's amazing. Seeing
beautiful.
the derby there was great.
Beautiful city. And it's crazy because I went in 2018 with my cousin, my friend Lewis. We went to Padres versus Angels, and Ohtani was his rookie year. So
Really?
I have a lot of Ohtani memories, which is kind of wild to me. So I think I'm due to go to an Angels game in LA. So, but that's probably my top 5. Those are only 5 I've been to. But yeah, Petco Park, man, San Diego, that's the dream, man.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of memories, dude, I saw Trout versus Ohtani. I was 8 rows off left field.
Oh my god, that's
how can you beat that?
Nah,
come on,
dude.
And the day before that, I saw the Randy Arozarena rob the home run.
Oh my god.
The whole, this one.
Yeah.
So I mean,
attend the World Baseball
come
Classic,
on.
man. That's something else.
That is something else. Yeah,
that is something else, man.
Honestly, the best sports experiences of my life.
Probably insane atmosphere, nah?
Dude, especially because I got to go on the field right as the game, because I did the opening flag ceremony. You know how they had the flags for the teams that competed. I held the South Korean flag by on TV.
There you
go. And so we were out there, so the place is packed because the game is ready to start. So I was looking around and just surrounded by people. It was nuts.
Wow.
It was nuts. And then I'm a pretty chatty guy. So I was sitting by a bunch of, fans from different countries, ethnicities, whatnot. So I was talking to everybody, talking to Japanese fans, talking to fans that were, Puerto Rican or Mexican or whatnot, and just like talking to people about, where you're from, what teams do you follow, like the basic stuff. It was just a great atmosphere, man.
Yeah,
it was an excellent atmosphere.
That's awesome, dude.
All right. I think that concludes our episode number 2 of Battin and Chattin. Anything else before we log off?
I haven't checked the score of that Yankees game since we started.
It's over. 9-6. Baltimore won.
Oh, I'm gonna
can't win them all, Nicky. We can't win them all.
Well, what are you gonna do?
What you gonna
do? Just win the series at this point.
Can't do anything about it, man.
Exactly.
I was a good enough little league player to do something about it.
Nope. Same here.
All right. That's all. I hope the Mets can wake up because now they're losing. Now they're back at 500, 25 and 25. So let's hope the Mets pick it back up. I thought this was a great episode of Bad and Chatting, and I'm excited to see what goes on in the baseball world for the next couple of weeks. I hope everybody has a great Memorial Day weekend coming up.
Yes.
Everybody be safe, be responsible, and be safe. Enjoy it with your friends and your family. And yeah, it is sort of the start of summer in a way.
Yeah.
Congrats to Dennis for graduating. Walking
Oh,
today.
thank you,
Yeah,
thank you,
credit.
thank you.
And yeah, I'm grateful for the show. And yeah, that's all I got to say. Like I said, thank you everybody for watching, Batting and Chatting. I am Brandon Gerard Natali, along with.
Nicholas File.
And Dennis Tui.
Thank you,
It's
everybody.
File.
It's File.
Oh, I'm sorry. You should have corrected me.
Yeah,
at
I
the
know. I was
beginning.
going to, but I was
He was
like,
going
no,
to. He was going
Oh
let's
my
just
to.
keep
god.
rolling.
There you go. Now
Yeah.
you know. Nick's name is Nick.
Gosh.
I've
Yeah.
gotten it correct. I know I've said fly at
File,
first, but then
Yeah.
I
All
know
right.
it's.
File.
I know. I
Man.
think you've
Like the
probably corrected
cabinet.
me.
Like the cabinet.
I think you've probably corrected me and said file,
Yeah.
like a file
Nah, that's
cabinet.
all
Yeah.
good.
And yeah, thank you everybody, and I hope everybody has a great night.
Peace out. Bad and chatting.
Bad and Chad.